Hey, it's Tommy from Saleslucky here. So today's topic is about introverts and sales, and I think it'll make an interesting topic because it's not one that's often discussed too much. In 2010, I read this book called Quiet. Basically, this book about introverts. It's actually called Quiet: The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Susan Cain, and 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 this was right before when I started getting into sales and really studying this stuff. But I would actually consider myself more of an introvert than extrovert. I see it as a spectrum, so it's not black or white, but kind of where do you lie on the spectrum? And for me, I actually am more naturally on the introverted side, so like to spend time in deep thought. Like to kind of be on my own and kind of recharge and at the end, at the end of the day, really not a big fan of small talk and like the chitter chatter that people do. That really doesn't mean anything. Like that's not like I don't like that. That's not my thing. And I would much rather have a one-on-one, meaningful, deep conversation with somebody than small talk or talk about the weather or sports or something like that. Unless I'm hanging out with my friends. But so I wanted to create this video because I think a lot of people have, or I certainly did, when I started out in sales, because I didn't see myself as that natural extroverted person, although at that time I wanted to be. I think there's the question of, can introverts be good at sales? And after doing it for a number of years, the answer is I want to share is absolutely yes. I think introverts and extroverts, they come with their own strengths and areas for improvement, just like anyone. And with introverts, the main challenge introverts have is being able to socialize, being able to overcome their fears, their anxieties, or their nervousness of like communicating and engaging with other people, right? So that was the challenge that I had to overcome, and I imagine a lot of introverts are struggling to overcome in their own lives. But when it comes to uh, introverts, if I think if people are able to overcome that aspect of being willing to get outside their comfort zone and engage with other people, and practice communicating, practice their influence skills, practice their sales skills, practice socializing, they become really effective salespeople. Because I think once they overcome that hurdle, then with what I've found is that there's really benefits and strengths to being an introvert in sales, which some of the things are introverts are naturally very thoughtful, and they're internal people, so they can make really good listeners, which is incredibly powerful and potent in sales. And they can also be very perceptive and sensitive because they're observing more, right? They're kind of more internally focused, so they're more observant, and they can sense and pick up things about the prospects, and with that sensitivity, notice more things. I mean, I've certainly noticed that for myself, is being able to like notice things under the surface and pick up things and make connections about my prospect that I wouldn't have if I wasn't as thoughtful. You know what I mean? So I think those are strengths that introverts bring to the table. On the other side, when it comes to extroverts, I mean, you know, I don't know what it's like to be someone who gets super energized around people, and I like small talk. So I don't know what it's like to necessarily be in those shoes. But what I've seen is that what I've observed about some extroverted salespeople is that while it might be flipped around for extroverts as opposed to introverts, where they're naturally comfortable around people, they're naturally comfortable with socializing, they're naturally comfortable with engaging with people. But where they get hung up is that they usually get, I've seen a lot of times how they get in their own way when it comes to sales conversations because they don't know when to shut up, if you will. Not no, it's just everyone's got different strengths and weaknesses and benefits, right? And things to bring to the table. So with extroverts, the challenge for them is they don't know when to, or the area that they often need to work on is knowing when to not talk and listen more, because as I've shared, the most effective sales reps are really good listeners. It's more about listening and paying attention to your prospects' pain points and needs as it is talking. So while extroverts might naturally have the advantage of being more able to engage, conversationally and socially, especially around small talk, and feel more comfortable around that, the challenge for them is being able to dial down that talking back and really listening and paying attention and understanding their prospects. So there's different pros and cons or strengths and areas of improvement for introverts and extroverts, and I think each kind of style has their own areas that they own challenges that those people need to overcome, and their own strengths that they bring to the table as well. And again, I kind of see this in a spectrum of completely extroverted, completely introverted, where this person doesn't like being around people at all and really gets energized just by being alone, and then this person gets completely energized being around other people and can't spend any time alone. So it's not like black or white, but it's a spectrum of where we lie. And of course, it's contextual as well. Now, I'm just talking about being with people in general. But for like myself, if I'm around close friends, then I feel much more of an extrovert in that sense. But if I'm around just more acquaintances, then I'm not that in that way naturally. And I've just discovered that being naturally more on the introverted side, once I've committed to this process of getting better at sales, I've found strengths of being an introvert that directly apply in being effective at sales. Just wanted to share this video for anyone out there who might be having those questions around introverted being extroverted and how that affects you in sales. And I think at the end of the day, it's again, for me, I not the biggest fan of small talk. For small talk's sake, I am much more interested in diving straight in and having a meaningful, insightful, just a valuable conversation. Deep conversation is what gets someone like me really engaged. Anyways, hope you got value out of this video. Hope it sparked some thought. Please share this if it resonated, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right.